Tonight, we confront a crisis unfolding right here in Georgia: homelessness, a challenge that is growing more urgent with each passing day. In a state famed for its southern hospitality, the contrast between warmth and struggle is striking. It's a silent epidemic, shattering lives and families across our cities and towns, often hidden in plain sight. The numbers are staggering, but behind every statistic is a real person. Someone who could be your neighbor, your coworker, your friend. Each story is unique, yet heartbreakingly familiar. This isn't just about data, it's about mothers, fathers, and children forced into impossible choices, often with nowhere else to turn. Their stories reveal how quickly stability can vanish, replaced by fear and uncertainty, as jobs are lost or rents rise beyond reach. We invite you to listen and understand the reality thousands of Georgians face, people who never imagined they'd be here. What's driving this surge? Economic pressures, housing shortages, and a lack of affordable options are pushing more people to the brink. Policy decisions, both local and statewide, have collided to create a perfect storm that leaves many with nowhere to go. Understanding why this is happening is the first step toward change, and it starts with honest conversations. It's easy to look away, but the lines between us and them are thinner than we think. Any one of us could be just a few setbacks away. Our goal is not to shock, but to awaken a sense of shared responsibility and inspire action within our communities. The faces of this crisis are our community: children, veterans, families, and individuals who deserve dignity and hope. By the end, we hope you'll see the humanity behind the headlines and believe that change is possible if we work together. This is a story that demands to be heard and acted upon. The future of our communities depends on how we respond. To truly grasp the scale of this crisis, let's take a closer look at the numbers that reveal the depth of the problem. In Augusta, the homeless population more than doubled in just a single year, from 448 in 2024 to a staggering 1,098 in 2025. That's not just a statistic. It's hundreds of new lives uprooted, families displaced, and communities struggling to cope. The most shocking rise is among children, a 1,781% increase, from 21 to 395 in just 1 year. Imagine nearly 400 children, each with their own story, suddenly without a stable place to call home. Children are now the largest homeless age group in the area, a heartbreaking shift that signals a deeper crisis for the next generation. These aren't just numbers. They're kids sleeping in cars, shelters, or on the streets, their futures at risk and their childhoods slipping away. Each night, more families are forced to make impossible choices. This isn't isolated to Augusta. It's part of a national trend that's growing more urgent every year. Across the U.S., homelessness hit a record 771,480 in 2024, with families and children seeing the biggest jump. The crisis is spreading, touching every corner of the country. In Georgia, for every 100 extremely low-income households, only 35 affordable rentals exist. The shortage is leaving thousands with nowhere to turn. The gap between what people can afford and what's available is fueling this crisis, pushing more families to the brink of homelessness. Some targeted efforts, like the Ending Veteran Homelessness Initiative, have shown progress. Veteran homelessness in Augusta declined slightly, proving that change is possible with the right support. This proves that focused resources and dedicated programs can make a real difference, even in the face of overwhelming odds. But the surge in family and child homelessness shows our broader safety nets are failing, leaving the most vulnerable without protection. The system isn't just fraying, it's tearing apart, and the consequences are visible on every street corner. The numbers demand urgent action, because behind every statistic is a real person, a family, and a future that hangs in the balance. Numbers alone can't capture the reality. So meet Brenda McKay, a woman whose life is a testament to resilience and strength. Brenda lives in Lakeland, South Georgia, and works full-time in Valdosta, a neighboring town. She earns $1,500 a month, but after rent, gas, and groceries, she's left with just $150 to cover everything else. That $150 must cover any emergency: a car repair, a doctor's visit, a utility bill, or any unexpected expense that life throws her way. One stroke of bad luck could send her back into homelessness, a reality she constantly fears. Brenda's anxiety is constant. Her story is the rule, not the exception. For many low-income workers who live on the edge, having a job is no longer a guarantee of housing security or financial stability. "I'm terrified," Brenda says. "If I lost everything, where would I go? What would I do?" Her questions echo across Georgia, where so many are one paycheck away from losing it all, living in constant uncertainty. Brenda isn't looking for a handout, just a fair chance to work and live without fear of losing her home. Her struggle exposes a broken promise. Hard work should lead to stability, but for many, it doesn't. Brenda's story forces us to ask, what does it say about our society when full-time workers still teeter on the edge? She's doing her part. Are we doing ours? Her story is a call to action, a plea for change, and a reminder that we must do better. Why is homelessness surging now? It's a perfect storm. The main driver? A severe lack of affordable housing. Rents have soared, outpacing wages. Millions spend over half their income on rent, leaving them one crisis away from losing their homes. Pandemic-era relief, rental assistance, eviction moratoriums has expired, pulling away a crucial safety net. Federal cuts to housing and anti-poverty programs have made things worse, forcing nonprofits to stretch thin resources. Natural disasters like Hurricane Helene have displaced hundreds, pushing families from insecurity into homelessness overnight. When you combine rising costs, expiring relief, budget cuts, and disasters, you get the crisis we see today. It's not one cause, it's a collision of many. The result? More Georgians without a place to call home. The most innocent victims are Georgia's children. A 1,181% increase in child homelessness in Augusta is staggering. Homelessness robs children of stability, community, and often, education. The stress of not knowing where you'll sleep affects their development and learning. Many face chronic absenteeism, falling behind in school. Hunger is another consequence. Hancock County has the highest child hunger rate in the U.S. Families forced to choose between rent and food turn to food banks, but demand is overwhelming. Poor nutrition and instability create a cycle of poverty that's hard to break. By failing these children now, we jeopardize their future, and ours. The well-being of our children should be our highest priority. Homelessness doesn't affect everyone equally. People of color, especially Black and Indigenous Georgians, are hit hardest, due to systemic racism and historic barriers to housing and wealth. Communities of color are more likely to be in low-wage jobs and cost-burdened by housing. The crisis also impacts gender-expansive individuals, with a 618% increase in homelessness since 2015. Discrimination and lack of support make these groups especially vulnerable. The current crisis exposes and worsens these inequities. Any real solution must address the root causes of injustice and inequality. We can't solve homelessness without equity. Nonprofits, shelters, and food banks are the frontline defense against homelessness. People like Bethany Trapp in Augusta work tirelessly to help those with nowhere else to turn. But demand has never been higher, and resources are stretched thin. Shelters are full, food banks are overwhelmed, and staff are forced to turn people away. Federal funding cuts make it even harder, pushing nonprofits to rely on private donations. Community support is vital, but it can't replace stable, large-scale funding. Despite the odds, these organizations innovate and collaborate to help as many as they can. They gather data, connect people to resources, and offer hope. But they can't do it alone. They need our support and leadership that's willing to invest in real solutions. The fight is ongoing, but the front line is at its limit. It's time for all of us to step up. The crisis feels overwhelming, but solutions exist. We know what works. Large-scale investment in affordable housing and targeted support. The Ending Veteran Homelessness Initiative proves that focused resources and coordination can reduce homelessness. Rental assistance and supportive services, like job training and mental health care, are key. It's more cost-effective to keep people housed than to help them after they lose everything. We must strengthen, not cut, these programs. Punitive measures, like fining or jailing people for being homeless, don't work and waste resources. We need compassion and investment, not punishment. Ending homelessness is an investment in our community's health and prosperity. The solutions are there. What's needed is the courage and will to act. We can solve this, if we choose to. The path forward is clear. We've seen the numbers, heard the stories, and explored the causes of Georgia's homelessness crisis. We've witnessed the toll on children and vulnerable communities, but also the hope offered by nonprofits and proven solutions. The question, now, what will we do? This is our shared responsibility. The health of our community is measured by how we treat our most vulnerable. Empathy is a start, but action is essential. Demand more from our leaders. Invest in affordable housing, rental assistance, and supportive services. Get informed, volunteer, donate, advocate for policy change. Talk to your friends and neighbors. Don't let this story fade. The people affected are our neighbors, not statistics. Their future, and Georgia's, depends on what we do next. This conversation doesn't end here. Join us, subscribe, share, and become part of a community that refuses to accept homelessness as inevitable. Together, we can build a Georgia where everyone has a safe place to call home. Thank you for listening.